News of the discussion was first reported by The Washington Post. The revelation has stoked new questions about Mr. Kushner's connections to Russian officials at a time when the FBI is conducting a wide-ranging investigation into Russia's attempts to disrupt last year's presidential election and whether any of Mr. Trump's advisors assisted in the Russian campaign. Current and former American officials said that Mr. Kushner's activities, like those of many others around Mr. Trump, are under scrutiny as part of the investigation. But Mr. Kushner is not currently the subject of a criminal investigation. In the days after the meeting with Mr. Kislyak, Mr. Kushner had a separate meeting with Sergei Gorkov, a Russian banker with close links to President Vladimir Putin of Russia. American intelligence agencies first learned about the discussion several months ago, according to a senior American official who had been briefed on intelligence reports. It is unclear whether they learned from intercepted Russian communications or other means. Mr. Trump came into office promising improved relations with Russia on numerous issues, including greater cooperation to try to end the civil war in Syria. During the presidential campaign, he frequently criticized the Obama administration's Syria policy as unnecessarily antagonistic toward Russia. The idea behind the secret communications channel, the three people said, was for Russian military officials to brief Mr. Flynn about the Syrian war and to discuss ways to cooperate there. Less than 2 weeks later, Mr. Kushner backed off the idea of the communications channel when Mr. Trump announced Rex W. Tillerson, a former chief executive of ExxonMobil who had worked closely with Russian officials on energy deals, as his choice to become Secretary of State. 2 congressional intelligence committees are conducting parallel investigations into Russian interference during the presidential campaign, and in recent weeks the committees have accelerated their efforts to obtain documents from Mr. Trump's campaign advisors, sometimes using subpoenas to demand the records. This week, the Senate Intelligence Committee asked the Trump campaign's treasurer to preserve and produce all documents including phone records and emails dating back to its official start in June 2015, according to one person associated with the campaign. The person, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the ongoing investigation, said former staff members have been instructed to cooperate with the committee's inquiry. The person said the request came from Senator Richard Ember, Republican of North Carolina, and Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, the committee's 2 senior members. Continue reading the main story.